going on? Welcome to another episode of Music Row Hideout, the show where we hang out with artists, musicians, and entertainers in Waylon Jennings' old basement studio. My name is Jury, and as always, I am gathered here with co-host Ryan Poole. Well, I'll pass it to you to introduce the guest.
Well, tonight, on a very special episode of Music Row Hideout, we have straight out of the heart of Texas, the one, the only, Sam Johnston.
Howdy.
How's it going, Sam?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
Good. And Sam is a, man, what would you call yourself? What I just heard in the other room was some very bluesy sounds coming from you as we were kind of warming up.
Yeah.
Is it a bluesy? So I was hearing bluesy, but like when I listened to your records, I would have probably said you were more like indie folky, but I haven't heard the whole thing.
I had that exact experience because like, driving over here, I was listening on Spotify, you know, because I try not to like know too much about you before we talk to you, but I listen to music, and so I'll drive over, and I was like, oh, this is cool, it's cool. Then we came in, and I was like, oh, he's a blues player? Like, what? I did not like see that the same.
Dude, it's funny, man. I feel like so much of it just depends on like my mood for the day.
Yeah.
But I feel like to a degree, like, yes, indie folk is kind of like home base from a recording perspective, but you know, I grew up in Texas, man. Like I grew up on the blues. Like I grew up going to Guitar Center from when I was like, I don't know, 14 years old, and
playing Enter Sandman.
Yeah, all that, exclusively that, actually. And I ended up like befriending like the guitar techs and the employees that just wanted me to like shut the fuck up, and like we eventually became friends, and they started inviting me out to blues jams and stuff, and it just kind of became home base when I got here. And then I don't know, I started writing songs, and I was like, I feel like my songwriting voice feels like more of a I don't know, like a folk guy or like an R&B guy. And so it was kind of an interesting dynamic to wiggle into this, I don't know, middle ground between the two.
Well, your vocals are really soulful.
Yeah.
And then the guitar playing you're doing was sounding a little more, was kind of pulling it bluesy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see it's like all in there. Is it also weird to say that I totally see, if I picture you as a teenager, I could see how you would be an annoying ass teenager at Guitar Center being like, "Hey guys, what kind of neck is on this thing?"
Dude,
when you're a teenager, you shook your head a lot. That's part of it.
The thing I was so bad about when I was in high school was just being like a pedal nerd. Because like I've always been really into recorded music at like just from an early age. Like the thing that really got me into playing guitar was listening to just like these old, like beautiful guitar tones, whether it was godly like B.B. King on like Live at the Regal, or listening to like Stevie Ray play, just being a Texas guy, and then like evolving to Derek Trucks. And then I like started experimenting with things, and I got into Pink Floyd, and then figuring out what like just vintage fuzz sounds was and are, I guess. I just fell in love with that. And so I would just go to Guitar Center, I mean, pretty much every day after high school, from the time that I was probably 15, or actually when I could drive, so like 16 till when I graduated, and would just try out different pedals and drive those poor dudes insane.
So do you have like a go-to like distortion tone?
Ooh.
Go-to, like if you could only have one kind of situation?
Man, honestly, I can't give you a good answer because I don't know if you saw my pedal board in there, but I keep like 8 drive pedals on there just because I like different flavors, man.
Is it a pedal board like a pedal board?
It's a pedal board.
Yeah.
It's a pedal board. Yeah. That's a big boy, man. But I love it. It's I don't know, just finding that like sound that like as soon as you hear it hit your eardrum, you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm just enamored by it immediately.
The tech person in me has always been super into pedals. So like my pedal board's like 5 feet. You know, it's like ridiculous. I barely ever touch it right now, but it exists. But for years I've been like, I need to get rid of all of this and just have like a tiny little thing. I'll actually use that, you know?
It's so easy to just every probably 3 weeks I'm like, you know what, dude, I just need to go back to basics. Just need a fuzz pedal, play with my guitar knob, and just like play the natural dynamic thing. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. That sounds
step on all the pedals. It's fun.
This is the colors. It's funny. My nowadays, like when we were out recording my last record, my producer and I, it was most of the time that we were working on it just because it was COVID. It was just the two of us. And I would just want to go in and try and dial in all these crazy sounds. And we got to the point where I was just driving him insane, probably to some degree. And he would just be like, dude, pedal ADD, stop it. like knock it off. And I'm like, sorry, I'll dial it back. Yeah.
I have that same experience that you had with Guitar Center. No, but not. I have a little bit of Guitar Center. I had my Guitar Center days, but I never like hung out. I was never a regular.
Sure.
But in high school, I had the same experience, but at Borders Bookstore.
Really?
Do you remember Borders Bookstore?
What a
yeah.
nerd.
They don't exist anymore. Yeah, I was very nerdy. But there was this period of high school, like sophomore, junior year, and it was very close to my high school. And I had a friend, and we'd just like hang out, meet at Borders, and like we'd have to, my dad wasn't off work till later, so it was like he'd pick me up later. So for probably 3-4 hours after school, I'd be at Borders, go look at all the magazines, sometimes go look at books. Maybe you start reading one in a chair if it was one you liked. They had a cafe, so I get a coffee. And then you go to the CD section and just listen to CDs. And I remember that was the first place I wasn't, back when I was a kid, I didn't want to be a music producer. I'm a music producer.
Right.
I didn't have that dream as a kid necessarily. But I do remember distinctly this one time I pulled up Jimmy Eat World's Futures albums, went to track 9, which, off the top of my head, I want to say it's Polaris.
Okay.
Yeah, and I sat there, and it's a song. As a song, it's very much like a play. It adds a layer, and then it plays for 4 bars, and then it adds a layer, 4 bars, adds a layer, and it's kind of that kind of stacking thing. And I sat there with a notebook and drew out, like, all right, here's the guitar, and I'm going to put a line when it starts, what bar, and here's the bass, and here's the this. And I wrote out, and I kind of drew the arrangement on paper, just because when you have 4 hours at Borders to fill the time, I don't know, I don't know why I even got that idea. But I look back, and I'm like, that was the first time I ever thought about a song arrangement and, like, how it worked.
That's brilliant, honestly. I feel like I got to Nashville and just started learning number charts, but, like, I feel like learning it in that sense and just like visualizing for yourself and finding your own, I don't know, like truth with it makes so much, I don't know, it just helps you find your voice. Like I'm sure you're pretty damn solid at that, like just arranging and figuring that out.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man.
On faith.
Yeah.
But it's funny, both of us kind of, you look back now and we like discovered what would be our like life passions and things we're pursuing in life. In high school, after school, and the hours you just have to kill.
Yes.
Hanging out at a store and just kind of exploring things.
Totally, man. It's crazy how you can find your voice because, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're in places like that, the only person you're really spending time with is yourself. And being able to just, like, sit there with, your thoughts and your, I don't know, your inner monologue, I guess, that you have, and then just having something, whether it's books or it's guitars or whatever it is, to, I don't know, have that conversation with yourself in a way. I feel like you learn a lot about your own identity and your passions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did you know, just because you brought it up,
Okay.
that some people don't have an inner monologue?
I have heard that.
I can't even imagine.
Oh my
So
God.
all,
What
you
is
both
your
have it
exist-
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your
I've never met
existence if you
anybody
don't?
who's acknowledged that they don't. I've never met a single person. I've asked 6 people, so not that many.
I remember first hearing about this, like somebody online talking like, that voice that they do on like sitcoms, like the echoey voice. They're like, that's, so Hollywood. And they didn't realize that other people have that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's
Mine doesn't
crazy.
echo. Does yours echo? Mine doesn't
Echo?
echo.
Mine doesn't echo.
Every time I say something, it's just like something. It's really obnoxious. But
I'm actually curious. I wonder what the statistic is on that. Like the number of,
gotta be real small,
like percentage.
right?
Yeah.
It's
I
gotta
feel
be
like
real
it's got to be small.
It's got to be like people who don't are like left-handed, psychopathic,
Right. Redheads.
Yeah.
like all those kind of like neurodivergent.
Damn redheads, man.
Yeah.
I swear. Crazy dudes, man.
But I don't know. I just
You
wonder,
seem like
I
the kind
see
of guy
you're
that
dumb.
people in college
If-
called, or in high school called red. Am I making that up?
I don't think you're red enough for red, are you?
Actually my nickname in high school was Crazy.
Oh,
which
damn.
which sounds
crazy.
it's so funny because like in my head it feels so neutral, but knowing it now, I'm like, if someone just heard that off the rip, they'd be like, okay, yeah, this guy's a lunatic. But it was fun. It was all because I think I was in like 3rd grade. I went to like the same school for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And
Wait, did you just
Do you really
not
suck at
graduate,
school,
or it's like help you back a lot of times?
what was it? I started in when I was 3 years old at this one little small Christian school in Dallas. And,
Preschool?
Started preschool there, and it fed all the way through like senior year. And
Wow.
so the football coach of our school saw me like running in PE class, and I was like I was like a decent athlete, but I was always just like not super coordinated at the same time. I was fast, but I made myself do weird things to get fast. So it started as crazy legs, and then like I don't know, 3-4 years passed of crazy legs, and like that's too many syllables, so it just became crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it became craze.
Yeah.
Anything in between.
You just gotta start making up reasons if people ask you.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, I ran over a cow with my car for fun in 9th grade. Or,
And it's like, man, that's crazy.
Like,
We're gonna call you that.
yeah, I jumped on the back of a wild horse and tamed it. Like, you need something like that.
It's actually short for crazy cow killer.
Right. Yeah. It's psycho. They're still looking for me in Texas. Like, I got out of that state quick.
They don't like them cow killers down south.
Speaking
But
of
to be
crazy,
fair, I think they do.
Wesley just made a shocking revelation.
Yeah, he did.
Sometimes he'll speak to us
Oh
with
my
notes.
God.
Oh wow.
He said that Erica,
That's
his
his
wife, has no inner monologue.
Oh man. So 1 in 5.
Hey, statistically accurate.
Got it.
Science is being done here.
Yes. Math.
I can't
We
even.
need to get
I just can't
Mackenzie
even
and
imagine
David
what
in the
that's
room.
Yeah,
like.
I know.
Wesley, maybe you can go ask them. They got an inner monologue.
I can text
Maybe at
them.
the break.
Yeah.
You have an inner monologue. Listeners out there, you know what? If I remember, there's a Q&A section. If you listen on Spotify, there's a Q&A, and we do little polls and whatever. And if I remember this week, I'll make it, do you have an inner monologue? Please go and answer the poll. Do you have an inner monologue? Or comment on Instagram or YouTube or wherever.
I just want to know what it's like.
Oh my gosh.
Same.
Just like silence.
Yeah.
Sounds so nice.
It just it does sound pretty nice. It's just so foreign to me. I just can't imagine what that would be like.
And not to define it for people, if you're listening,
Yeah.
if you don't have an inner monologue, like
pop off.
what is your inner monologue like?
It's just me talking all the time, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like my real life. Just me
Well, it's like,
talking all
is
the
it
time.
for me? It's like if you're thinking through a situation, you're thinking verbally as
Yeah.
yourself, just talking.
100%.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a great way to describe it.
You're just like, if I'm on a computer, it'd be like, let me go down to the Finder, click it. All right, there it is. Shit, where's that folder? Fuck, where's that folder? Where's that folder? Where's the folder? Oh, there's the folder. Okay, click. And
Yeah.
the file I'm looking for is, and it's like you're talking to yourself all the damn time.
Right. And when I'm not continuously talking to myself and I've realized I haven't been, it's usually
Morgan
I
Freeman's
don't
back there
realize
and he's
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah.
He's picking up the slack.
Yeah.
But no, I realize I feel like I zoned out.
Yes.
Like time has passed and I don't know what happened during that time.
Perfect.
Erica mumbles
Oh
a
my God.
lot.
Erica mumbles a lot.
So is her
Okay.
inner monologue just an outer monologue?
a mumble log.
He's saying,
A
he's saying a
mumble
mumble log.
We found it.
An inner monologue or an outer mumble log. Those are your options.
I mean,
An outer
Erica hits different. She's a very different personality type than myself.
Maybe-
I could see it. Like
maybe that's why.
Yeah, because she has no inner monologue, so she's like banging on a different cylinder.
Interesting.
She's got that 9th cylinder.
I have so many questions now.
Yeah.
So many questions. I wonder if it's like, are you guys familiar with like the Enneagram
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah, we are.
Like
Quite.
I'm a 4, I think is what I am.
Almost every artist is.
Yeah, no. I'm like, it's like it's
Cool, bro.
almost
You
like
have feelings. We get
it's
it.
like an instant feedback loop because like as an artist, you're like, I want to be different, and then you become an artist, and then they're like, okay, all of you are 4, and you're like, no, I want to be fucking different. Like,
yeah.
it's funny, but I wonder if it's something to do with like that level of personality type where like 4s are very like introspective and like think about a lot of things, I guess, just consistently.
So
Yeah.
can you just not be a 4 if you have no inner monologue? It's just not even possible.
Maybe. Are you guys 4s?
No,
No.
I'm
6.
wing 7 and 5 evenly, I believe.
Okay.
I'm a 7. I
7?
don't know anything about my wings.
Okay.
I'm probably 8.
I don't know enough about the wings to know. I think I'm with wing 3.
Achievement.
See, I
Yeah,
subscribe.
that adds up.
Well, I used to subscribe a lot more to the what's it called? The ENFP one.
Oh, Myers-Briggs.
Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
Until recently, I found a new personality test. That's right. Put out.
New personality.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
This guy memorizes buttons.
Yes.
Put out by some project called like the Open Psychometrics Project. They're like a statistics and science-based psychoanalyzing something. And they have one where you answer all these questions and it tells you which TV show characters you're most like. Kind of like you'd see on Facebook, but
Right.
like
Stop.
backed by science.
Wow.
I
What
need
character
to
were
take
you?
that.
Josh Lyman from West Wing. which was, if you probably haven't seen that,
I haven't.
I literally like just finished watching it, but I started because someone told me you remind me of Josh Lyman from The West Wing.
No kidding.
Yeah, and then it was my number one answer
When
of
you watched it,
2,000
were you like-
characters.
When you watch it, you're like, this
like-
guy's dope.
Yeah, 100%. I was like, this guy's he was like my favorite character too. Like, this guy's great. He's funny. He's on it. Sharp witted. Yeah, that's it. This is the site. Well
We
done,
don't need to
Wesley.
take
He's snapping a picture
only-
of this just so I can take it later.
Yeah, if
We'll
you
need
do
to take
the there's like different different levels based on how many questions you want to do.
Okay.
And like the biggest one's like 200 questions, and the one before that's like 40 or something.
I do the long one because I want to be thorough.
Yeah, at that point,
Yeah.
if I'm going to take it, I might as well just go
Yeah.
for it.
They have a few
you know?
other things on there too. I haven't taken any others, but that one's dope. It's great.
I love that.
All right, I got a few fun branches for this conversation. I'm sure we all do. But
first-
before we want to have you play a song so people hear what you sound like. What's the first song you're going to be playing tonight?
Man, the first song is this tune called Spirits and Jesus. It's on the new record, and it's about this like dream that I had one night where like I was like going down a street alone, and I saw this like Astro van come up, and he was like, "You want to come in? I got cigarettes. You look like you need a ride." And I guess just like dream state me didn't care about stranger danger, so
Yeah.
I just went in and like just started talking, and I don't know what was in the cigarette, but like he turned out to be Jesus, and like
There was definitely weed in that cigarette.
yeah, or something. I don't know.
It's a marijuana cigarette.
And we just ended up like shooting the shit and talking about life and finding ways to get humbled. And it just started. I woke up the next day and wrote it. Yeah, I love that tune. That's one of my favorites on the record.
That's awesome to hear.
The song is about yellow American spirits.
Looked up at the dead of night till I could barely open my eyes. Drifted to a wild and crazy dream. Well, all the stars up in the sky went away like the flick of a light, as I was hitchhiking down this lonely street. Then a brown-eyed man in an Astro van came and flashed his headlight beams, rolled his window down, and I heard the sound of him calling to me, saying, "Get in the backseat, you got a lesson to learn. Won't you take this pack of cigarettes and just smoke them till they burn, or you'll feel like a deadbeat. Maybe then you'll see that it takes a little bit of love, set your soul free. Lessons from spirits and Jesus." Told him, "Sir, I've been 2 months clean from that old lady nicotine. No, and this ain't what I need to get home. I told you, sir, I'm doing just fine. Ain't no need for nothing too divine. Can't you turn your water to wine and just go?" Then he told me, "Sam, you're a grown-ass man, but I see right through your schemes. Ain't no need to lie, 'cause it worries mine, and I won't dare let you bleed. So just get in the backseat, you got a lesson to learn. Won't you take this pack of cigarettes and just smoke them till they burn, or you'll feel like a deadbeat. Maybe then you'll see that it takes a little bit of love to set your soul free. Lessons from spirits and Jesus." So I made my way to that Chevrolet with a lie and a touch of belief that one day I might find the one divine that can just call out to me and tell me, get in the backseat. You got a lesson to learn. Oh, won't you take this pack of cigarettes and just smoke until they burn? Or you feel like a deadbeat. Maybe then you'll see that it takes a little bit of love to set your soul free. Lessons from spirits and Jesus.
And we're back.
All right, man. Okay, so there's some of that bluesy sound I was talking about.
Yeah. And we're back.
Now, is the Yellow American Spirit your favorite spirit? Do you smoke spirits?
So-
is that just for the song?
I used to. I don't really smoke cigarettes much anymore, but when I was in college, yellow spirits, 100%.
Yeah.
That was like,
Because they were healthier, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they tell. That's what the label
not.
said. Apparently,
I liked the yellow too. I think most hipsters did.
and that's yeah. I mean, let's be honest. That's why I picked them.
The
I
blue
smoked
was kinda
Turkish
cool, too.
Royals. I was not a hipster.
Really?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
was
guys-
Turkish Gold was my like number one for a while, and then I switched to Camel Wide Blues, which not every place
Those are
has,
the worst.
but most do. I did my Camel Wide Blues for a solid 6 years at least.
Really?
Yeah,
Too thick. I don't like it.
Man,
Yeah. No.
I loved them.
I'm trying to think. Have you guys ever smoked Jarums before?
Yeah, John Black's.
Yeah, John
Yeah,
Black's.
yeah.
It was funny. I remember like seeing an episode of, I think it was Workaholics. Have you guys ever seen that show?
Yeah, I've seen a few.
And like, there's one episode where the guy Blake, he's like smoking. He's like trying to pretend to be a hipster kid, impersonate, like infiltrating a high school, and he's like trying to be the hipster kid, and he's like, "Sweet man, you want a clove?" And like, I just was like, "What are these clove things?" And I went to college here and was at Belmont, so like built-in hipster community, and
True.
I was like, well, if I really want to stand out, maybe I should get some cloves. And I
Fucking
smoked them.
fours.
They actually are like,
They're great.
they're pretty great.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me ask you, have you ever had a clove that
No, he
was
has not.
cigarette wrapped?
No.
White
No.
paper wrapped? Because that's how they used to be.
That's next level.
And that was
No,
way
you're-
better.
Shit.
You're mid-20s, right?
Yeah, 26.
Yeah. So back in 2008, president named President Barack Obama, whatever
Very-
you might think about him, good, bad, or ugly, or fantastic,
I think he's a pretty handsome
in
guy.
either
actually.
Yeah, he's a good-looking
case,
dude.
Yeah, he's a good looking guy.
he
He's
signed
suave.
a bill that made flavored cigarettes illegal.
Yes.
Really?
Before
But not
that time-
menthols.
You know, it's funny. I
Right.
blame it on him.
That
What
was
did
like
he
the
have to
cabinet.
do with it? Somebody made that law, and he was
Yeah,
like,
they just got
I
voted. He
agree
just
with
signed
this.
it. Yeah.
in either case, I blame it on him a little bit. But he got rid of flavored cigarettes. And so back when I was starting to smoke, when I was like 17, 18,
Right.
we had strawberry flavored cigarettes.
No shit.
Vanilla flavored cigarettes. Now, those are mostly like specialty at smoke shops, not gas stations
Sure.
or whatever. But most places would have Dejarum cloves, but the cloves were cigarettes. They disappeared once in 2008, and they came back probably 2009 as cigarillos. And they're
Not
still
as
good,
good.
but they're not as good because
they're not
the
as smooth.
because the cigarillo
Tragic.
has a little more of that harder to inhale thing, but you still do. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well,
Now-
you know why I think that that actually happened. I think it was directly related to Obama.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong
Really?
about the timeline of this, but because he got caught smoking a few times by the press,
Oh, right.
And he's a
because
smoker.
he had a Secret Service guy who carried a pack of Marlboro Reds, and that's what he smoked. Which I thought
That'd
was
be
weird.
a sick
I thought he
job to
smoked.
have.
I thought he smoked menthols.
No, it was Reds, and that was like the thing. That was like a big part of it. That's what people. That was the joke. Was like, oh, it should be Newports, and people were like, all right, like settle down.
I got the back half of that where people were just like, it was Newport.
Yeah. It's just stupid.
Secondhand.
I mean, that being said, Marlboro Reds are trash, but I think that is kind of like what probably ended up leading to that. Like, oh, you need some anti-smoking legislation now to make up for this press ordeal of you got caught smoking.
Interesting. And now we can't have Dejarum cigarettes.
And now we can't have the good cloves because, I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore anyway, but I want the right.
Yeah.
I
if
would
was-
have a cigarette clove right now.
Oh, like What was the last? It's been years since I've smoked a cigarette, but got a jar of this. I'm kind of good.
Yeah.
It's funny, like that whole band. I had no idea. To me, like I think of like my generation. That was the flavored Juul pod thing. Like that was such a big thing. Like my senior year of college. So I was like 21, 22, when everyone was just cracking down on like no flavored Juul pods in the gas station because they had some creative shit. They had like cool cucumber, mango hibiscus, like all these crazy things. And
But the argument against those was it markets to kids, right?
yeah, sure.
But adults also like flavor.
Yeah, I know. I like the
Like,
cool
I'm
cucumber
drinking a
was my favorite.
grapefruit thing right now. Like, I like flavor.
I'm drinking prickly pear cactus.
I hope they don't come for our alcohol. Be like, no flavors in alcohol. It's got to
Right?
be vodka.
that would just I feel like
Everclear.
damn, just everyone has to drink Everclear for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do it, but
I won't be happy about it.
I won't remember anything. It'll be fine.
Everyone just has to drink isopropyl, like rubbing alcohol. For the rest.
Now, as a postscript, a few years ago, 5-6 years ago, I went to India to record a record with my friend Roger. He plays sitar, and he's gone to India like 15 times in his life. I don't know. And so India's a big deal for him. So we went to India, and they had a studio there, and we recorded his vocals and his sitar there. So it was a super cool experience for me.
So sick.
To see India. They had on the street, like street vendors, Djarum cigarettes.
Oh, the
Really?
good
They had
shit.
And so when I was in India, I bought so many Djarum cigarettes.
I bet
I was
you
smoking
did.
them everywhere. I brought a few back for friends as special things. And one of my favorite memories, man, of all time, I went to a place there called Hotel Lonavala.
Okay.
And the place we were was called Lonavala. So anyways, the hotel of the place, right? Well, a number of different restaurants, maybe all, allowed smoking inside.
No shit.
Which was like,
That's legit.
never in our lifetime could
So
you smoke in
foreign.
a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so at Hotel Lonavala, we went in and we got like the best Indian food I'd ever had in my life.
Oh yeah.
And got a giant Kingfisher beer, which is an Indian beer, and just smoked Djarum cloves. Do you know how good it is while you're waiting for your food to come out that you get to sit and smoke a clove inside? Just smoke. I was like, I don't even care. It's take your time. Take as much time as you need to bring my food out. I'm just clove after clove. And then you're eating, and then right when you're done eating, fucking clove.
See, now I just have to like nowadays I just have to like reach into my pocket, carefully pull out a Zen and throw it in shame
A little packet.
before I'm waiting for my food.
In India, they're like, yes, my friend, please eat.
Yes, like
I didn't. I have a pretty decent Indian accent, just so everyone knows. I went into like a Russian there because I was like, "Don't be racist." But
Yeah.
I love India, and I don't think they would be offended by me doing an accent.
Well,
so
hell yeah.
I don't think so either. Your
Shame
Indian
on
accent's
my-
pretty good. Your Indian accent's pretty good.
I've done my Indian accent a number of times, and all my white friends are like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Shut up! They don't care. It's only you." But anyway,
so fair.
I vouch for India. I quit smoke, just so everyone knows. We talked a lot about cigarettes.
Talk
on
a
the
lot
show.
about cigarettes.
yeah, I don't think
Hey,
any of
fuck
us
yeah.
smoke currently.
No,
No,
I quit
I
smoking
I
5
did
years
too.
ago.
Yeah.
You should quit. We're probably going to get a Spotify banner now that's like smoking causes blah, blah, blah. We don't vouch for smoking.
All the
but,
mads.
but it sure is fun to do when you're, just graduate high school for 5 years. So
You're
have
young
fun.
and dumb.
Yeah. But also other people, like, if you've never smoked, like, they don't get it.
Oh yeah,
You know what
totally.
I'm talking about? Like, they're not part of the club.
Yeah, they're not. They don't part of the club, kids.
We're making an incredible sales pitch for smoking.
Yeah.
Oh God. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening.
Because I don't care what anybody says. Smoking is cool.
I'm gonna
At
let
least
you
it
say
looks
that.
cool. All right. You see like a guy from like the 50s in like a leather jacket and a cigarette in his mouth. Like, who's cooler than that guy?
Dude, that is what got me started. So I'll tell
We're
you
never
how-
getting off this topic.
No. I'm gonna tell you. I'm
I've
gonna
got
tell
some
you.
stories.
Here's how I started smoking. Me and a friend were going to see Jimmy Eat World, bringing them back again.
Yeah, I know. Freaking cyclical return over here. I
In
love it.
Hollywood, we're going to Hollywood to see Jimmy Eat World play on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. So like we're so stoked.
So stoked.
And he was 18 and I was 17, and I was like, so he was the one who bought our nicotine. So
Right.
he was gonna go get us some. We smoked little cigarillos.
Right.
Well, he comes back. He's gonna go buy us some like prime times. He comes back with 2 packs of Marlboro for us. And I'm like, what the heck? Why'd you buy cigarettes? And he's like, it's actually, my dumb friend that got me into stupid shit. He's like, it's actually better. We like, as much as we smoke, it's actually healthier to smoke a cigarette than the cigars. And so, so I did not like the taste at first, but if you smoke 20 cigarettes, you will start loving them.
Oh, 100%.
And so for me, it was tied with this incredible road trip. 17 years old, drive up to Hollywood and go see one of your favorite bands on a TV show, and you're smoking cigarettes in Hollywood, son, and staying at a hotel, like, all by ourselves. I fucking loved cigarettes after that point.
Oh, dude.
But what got me fucking hooked was when I saw an ad for Turkish Golds, and it had a James Dean looking 50s guy in a leather jacket on a motorcycle with his hair slicked back and a Turkish Gold. I was like,
dude looks cool.
Camel, you can have my money for the next 10 years.
Game over.
But anyways, besides smoking and promoting cigarettes, you also know.
Sam Johnston, noted cigarette spokesperson. Dude,
5 years ago.
This is all because your song.
Spirits of Jesus.
Yeah. There you go.
Which I gotta say, I thought was really clever in the chorus when you say, the tag when you say spirits and Jesus, because the normal context that would be spirits, like Holy Spirit, angels, and Jesus.
He
but
gets
because
it. I love
American Spirit, it's a good turn.
Thanks,
it's a good
man.
turn.
I appreciate that. That was I don't remember what it started out as Spirits in America. No, not Spirits in American Jesus. That would be a whole. God knows what that's.
Damn, you're from Texas, son.
Yeah. It was like I think it was American,
I love American
Jesus
best.
Like
American
Jesus
Spirits
and. With what's the Talladega Nights thing? Fucking I'd like to see Jesus with wings singing lead vocals at a Leonard Skinner concert. Greatness.
Like baby Jesus.
But if Jesus, 6 pound 8 ounce baby Jesus.
Now, coming off your last song, so you have a really cool backstory. And I mean a literal backstory. Sam just threw me a wink because he knew what I was doing. So I got like the heads up from Mackenzie, your manager's in the other room.
Oh yeah.
So she told me a tiny bit, but could you tell me your backstory?
Sure. Yeah.
Wink, wink, wink.
My
wink.
backstory. So it's funny because nowadays I don't think about it as much, but I was 12 years old, so I was a big football player growing up. I grew up in Texas. Like I was really big buds with our football coach.
Like football and cows. Like
Yeah,
that's it.
and what was it? Killing cows that we were saying.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
He has murdered several cows.
I shouldn't have said that. Guys. All that.
And dip.
And dip. Oh God, I have a story for that. But I was 12 years old. Was playing like football from 9 years old till then, and was like, I was pretty good. Like thought I was on like the track to go like play varsity or whatever, and. Like in my head, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go like play as a freshman, play all the way through high school, go play college football, and
be a pro."
I mean, when you're 11 years old, hell yeah, you're like totally that's gonna work. And I was 12, and it was I was a late bloomer, and so I probably by the time I was 12, I was probably about 5'6", 110 pounds, and like now I'm like 6'3".
5'6" at 12 is a lot.
Yeah. For being like 6'3", 200 something now, it was like I'm a runt. And I was definitely not on the puberty side yet. And we played in the 7th and 8th grade combined league. And I was in 7th grade. And I just saw this kid that was probably like 6'1", upper hundreds. And I was like, I can take this guy. And go run and like kind of put my head down like that, go head on collision with them. And I go down. And like I got up for a second and I was like, oh, like I think I'm fine. All of a sudden it was like, oh, I can't breathe. Like this is weird.
Ooh.
So
you
I went
think like you had the wind knocked out of you?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
It was like a combo of that, but it was because I've gotten the wind knocked out of me many times. This was like it felt like 10 minutes that I just like could barely breathe. I don't know if it was like panic or whatever, but I ended up going down and like basically they let me get my wind back. And it took a minute, and I was telling, I was like, my back is killing me, and they're like, it is what it is. Like I'm sure it's okay. You might have like a broken rib or something. Like that. We'll get it checked out, and they ended up walking me off the field, and like I just sat down. I was like, something's wrong, and I ended up going to like a pediatric after hours thing with my mom and my dad after the game. And they were like, oh, no. We need to like strap you to a backboard, put you in a neck brace, like the whole shebang. They're like, who moved this dude? Which like, I actually am like, buddies.
How old were you again?
12.
Dude, that has to be so scary as a 12-year-old.
It was freaky, man.
Just like that, just those, like, as that age, like, the apparatuses, like,
yes.
As soon as you said backboard and neck brace, I'm, like, seeing that, just like, Mom, Dad, do I have to?
Exactly. That was the crazy thing about it, because it really wasn't, it didn't seem that scary when I was, like, just, walking off the field and, like, driving to the clinic or whatever. It was like, oh, my back hurts. Maybe I'll just, like, tweak to something or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, like, strap him up to this thing, XY, get him a CAT scan, MRI. I was like, oh, this could be really serious. And then that's when I was like, okay, this is really scary. And so, yeah, just like got thrown into an ambulance. It was funny because like I got a CAT scan that night and they thought it was a muscular thing. So I went home. And then the next day they were like, oh, wait, actually, we need to bring you back. And so they did an MRI for like 2 hours. It was nuts.
What did it end up being?
If
you remember, that's a long time ago. I know
it was. I want to say 4 broken vertebrae. So it was like T
vertebrae.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So T like 6, 7, 8, and I want to say like 11. So like kind of middle back, and yeah, I had to like it was 12 about to turn 13, and like had to be put. I had like to wear the back brace thing at school, so. That was fun.
Yeah.
But
real popular because of it.
Yeah, I was sick. That was super cool. And I quit football for I actually ended up going back like 6 years later for
I don't think I can go back after that.
I tried and like right after in 8th grade, and I got like hit kind of in a similar way, and I just like panicked.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I can't do this for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. It it's funny because it really like ended up being like the best thing that ever happened to me.
Really?
Because yeah, man, it's funny because right around the time that happened, I was begging my parents to let me play in the drum line because I always knew I loved music, and I just like I had like taken maybe 2 guitar lessons when I was like 8, but my just ADD could not handle that at that age. And I just knew I wanted to do something with it. And when I got hurt, it was like, okay, you guys have like no excuse now. Like you don't have to like pick me up and like drop me off from football practice and drumline. Like let me just go do drumline for a little bit. And they ended up letting me do it. Start playing drums while I was doing
I feel
it.
like you need your back for that too. Like
yeah.
You're walking and
so they had like a little apparatus thing for me. So like I would never because they have like the little strap on stand things
like
that you
thing's
walk around
hanging
with.
off you.
Yeah, they did. I had a back brace on. They're like, you're not doing that. But they just like let me play in the stands when we were doing that, and I just ended up like falling in love with it. And then fast forward 2 years after that, found guitar again, found singing, and now I'm in Nashville doing it. So it
worked out in the end.
It really did. Yeah. So that was it like very shitty in the moment.
Do you still have effects from the injury?
I don't. No.
Because you were pretty young. I feel like the
Yeah.
younger you are, like kind of heal a little better.
That's kind of what I think it is. And
I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to me at all, for the record.
I got lucky. Like the place that had broken my back, like it's a pretty sturdy area of your spinal cord and your spine, so like it heals pretty well. Like the dude that was my what did they call it? Orthopedist?
Sure.
Sure. But he was like,
I call him a doctor.
Yeah. He was like, it's a miracle you didn't break your neck. And like, if that was the case, I would have been like, I don't know if you watched Friday Night Lights, but yeah, Jason Street in this. Like,
wow.
Yeah, that would have been a big bummer. So it ended up like, for everything that was shitty about it, it really was best case scenario in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had something you said reminded me of back in the day. I had some friends that got it. So we're both from San Diego. I don't know if we mentioned that. So back in
Staying classy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The amount of people who haven't seen Anchorman is a lot.
And so I started surfing with some friends in high school. They got really into it and kind of dragged me in. And same stupid friend that dragged me into smoking, actually. Anyway, this guy was trying to fucking kill me because one day we went out to place called Hospitals.
Oh God.
And Hospitals was just a reef break right next to where there was like an old hospital. So a reef break so a beach break is like, think of a beach, what you think a beach is, and there's waves. That's a beach break.
Okay.
A reef break is where it's all rock underneath and rocks in front. And so it's rocks. Okay. And so we went to a
super safe
Hospitals reef break, and it was a day that it was breaking really big. It was like 9-foot waves, 10-foot waves.
Get pitted.
Yeah. And so I was like paddling out. We're paddling out. These giant waves coming. When you just have to when you're. Have you ever surfed before?
I think I did when I was like 9 in Hawaii. Then I did not do it well.
Yeah,
but
sure,
continue.
of course. So you have to swim, and you're just you just have to try to get to the other side of the wave before it breaks on you, or else you get pushed back in and you're fucked. So we're swimming and go. And well, a wave comes and I don't make it in time, and it crashes down on me. Pushes me down underwater to where I literally hit the bottom because the reef break's really shallow, which is part of its magic. So I hit the fucking rocks at the bottom. Not that hard, but it's scary. So I start swimming. I'm like, in that you have a choice there to either try to paddle back out again or get the fuck out and go in. And so I was like, I got scared. And so I started paddling in. Well, when a wave comes, what makes you be able to ride it is you're going fast enough that when it hits you, it picks you up in the momentum of it, and then you start riding it. But if you're not fast enough, it swallows you. And so I'm trying to get out of there. Well, these giant waves are coming. They're way more powerful than me, and they just devour me. So wave after wave, this wave broke on my head, and like I got up and saw stars, and I'm just scared. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking drown out here. Yeah. And I'm just trying to swim in. And like they're pounding me. Eventually, it pushes me into some reef, we call tide pools. Pushes me into it, and the water's just going past me, and I'm against a rock,
which hurts. By the way, like those rocks are not fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and the board, you wear a little leash to keep it on your leg. I can't remember if mine got ripped off or there was a period of time where I was going leashless because I like lost a leash or whatever. Either way, the board gets sucked away from me, and that's your flotation device. So I'm like, oh, now it's just me. And the board goes in. The board breaks in half, by the way. And now it's just me stuck here with no flotation device.
Oh,
I got out. I eventually got onto the beach, and I just collapsed. I'm 17. I lay on the beach and just... and just took a good 10, 15 minutes to recover. And I'm like, I almost just drowned. My buddy's back out there in the water. He made it past that wave. I'm just going to hang till he gets back. And then, this was Easter, by the way. And we went to church afterwards, and I was like, praise God.
I got resurrected just like Jesus.
I'm happy. I'm alive. Woo. And but like I thought I was going to die. The rest of the day, I was just so happy to be alive. I'm like, the sky's blue, guys. It's amazing.
Yeah, I would too, man.
And after that, and why it reminded me of your story is the next time I went out surfing, we went in waves that I used to be very comfortable in. Because I built to this. This wasn't day one. I go out in waves I'm very comfortable in La Jolla Shores, if you know it. Shout out La Jolla Shores. And it was like, 6-foot waves, but on a beach break where it's safe, super safe. And I just, as the wave was coming at me, I was just paralyzed.
He's like,
with
nope,
fear.
nope.
Yeah. And I have surfed again since then, but that was the moment. Like we were going like bigger, better, going harder, trying to get better at surfing, but that broke me, and I never. I had a fear of big waves ever since then.
Oh, dude.
And I never got back into it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. In a situation like that, like my shit, like when something happens like that, like nothing is the same. Ever. Yeah. Like everything changes. Like even like I ended up going back to playing football my senior year. And at that point, like, I was, like, full-fledged playing music, like, singing, doing the thing. So I was unathletic as shit. Like, just not an athlete by any means.
Crazy, what happened to you?
Yeah, I lost my legs. And I rode the bench. So that part was actually kind of great. So I didn't really have to get that much exposure to contact like that. But there were times, again, where, like, it would. And, I was just lucky enough to, like, go to therapy and shit like that and like work out other things in my head.
Let's jump right into fucking
Yeah, I know. I was like,
therapy.
we're already in
damn
trauma
it.
therapy right now.
We're
Let's
getting
go.
therapy. Well, so when I was young, I got injured a lot. I got injured quite a bit. Between 6th and 9th grade, I had broken, actually in a very weird and specific order. Because the first time I broke a bone, I was on rollerblades, which was 8 wheels. It's very important. And I broke my left wrist. And then it healed up. Like a few months later, I was on a skateboard and I broke my right wrist, which I think I actually still have scars from that.
Damn.
Like I have a scar here and I think probably there's like a spot.
never
here.
Oh,
seen
we
your
about to
scars.
share break
We've
scars?
never
I've got a
counted
few.
scars.
I've got a few.
Yeah,
I've got
so-
some bumps.
So I had that, and so skateboard's 4 wheels.
Yeah.
And then I broke my thumb like 6 months later on a scooter, 2 wheels. So my theory is if I ever get in something with 1 wheel,
Don't get on those one wheels, man. You
I'm in
seen
trouble.
those?
Yeah,
Like,
they look sick. I kind of want.
Or like a tragic unicycling accident.
But the thing is, none of those ever stopped me from doing anything. I never had any like weird like things like I couldn't get back on the skateboard. I couldn't whatever. But then I got a motorcycle, and I got hit on the freeway. Like some guy just changed lanes into my front tire, and didn't stop. By the way, fuck that guy.
yeah, fuck that guy.
But even then, like my bike was all beat up, my handlebar was like bent. I couldn't move my left shoulder at all. I still rode home. You know what I mean? I still
Wow.
I got my bike. I rode home because I couldn't afford an ambulance. But then, like a year after that, I was riding my bike, just taking a sharp turn. And the more I rode, I used to ride to work to and from work every day. I used to ride on the weekends. All I did was ride my bike. And I'd get progressively more aggressive with it.
Yeah.
Taking the turns faster, leaning over farther. Like I
Interesting.
remember the first time I scraped my boot on the street from like leaning over so far, scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And things like that. But I was riding to work one day and I was in this little slow turn that just had some gravel and I just slid out. A very small injury. I had a really bad sprained ankle, but that was it. But that injury made me like scared to ride motorcycles for a while.
Really?
And none of the others, nothing else I've ever done, but that one, I think maybe because it was just my fault. Like I just took a turn too hard when there was some gravel and sand in the street. But it was like, it was my fault. Or like when the guy hit me on the freeway, I had nothing to do with that. He just changed lanes into me. I couldn't react fast enough.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Like I feel like if it's your responsibility, you're like, oh, I could do this again.
No one else was
and
involved.
make the error. But if it's like a freak accident like that, you're like, okay, I don't have control over
Yeah,
this.
it took me a few months before I could get back on a bike.
That
Now
makes
I
a
haven't
lot
been
of
on a bike
sense.
in a lot of years now because I sold it.
Yeah.
And then I haven't bought a new one. But
So when I was a freshman in college, I just broke there's no better ways. I broke the ever-loving shit out of my collarbone.
that's a
this
rough
is
one.
My first week of college, and I was like just the dumbest thing you could ever imagine. Like going on not like a penny board, but a cruiser.
Yeah.
So like a longboard light, I guess.
Yeah.
And like I went to Belmont, and there's like a bunch of crazy hills by there, and they're all by like, albeit like very busy streets. So like trying to go down these hills, period, regardless if you know what you're doing on like a good safe board is a bad idea. I'm on a cruiser. I'm like, yeah, I can take it. Like I got it. I ended up like getting speed wobbles and
it's
bailing.
the scariest thing.
And then right on my shoulder. And I've still got, I don't know if you can see it, but like a pretty gnarly bump.
Oh, I have a bump from my motorcycle right here. It's like I have like an inch high bump on my shoulder from that too. Yeah.
Like you can see it a little bit right there.
Yeah.
Just peeking
Is
out.
that bump not supposed to be there?
Oh,
I don't know what your shoulder's supposed to
Oh,
be.
it's supposed to be pretty straight.
Yeah.
No, I just remember like thinking I like dislocated my shoulder or something like that. Like we called them BPO, but it was like Belmont Campus Security. We were like walking by. I was like, yeah, I think I might have like popped my shoulder out of socket or something. Like, you think you could pop it in? And he was like, no. He's like, you need to go to
I'm
a
not trying to get
hospital.
fired.
Like,
we have
hell
we got doctors on campus, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I ended up going to Vandy, the ER, which was a whole experience. And I ended up like getting my collarbone x-rayed. There's my shoulder. And I was like, oh yeah, they just need to pop it back in. And he's like, well, your collarbone is just absolutely obliterated.
Oh.
And I still remember seeing the x-ray for the first time. I was like,
Was it just like a crack or snap, or was it like many pieces?
Like it wasn't shattered, but it was just the direction of it. It was just like that.
Oh.
Like a beautiful little like fucked up teeth.
And they can't do much for you. They just like put you in a sling, right?
Yeah, that's what they did
Like
for
they
me.
can't cast it. They can't do anything with collarbone breaks, I think.
They could do surgery with it, which I thought about doing, but at that point,
Surgery's scary though.
that was like my first week of college, and I went to music school, and I was like a big guitar player, so I was like, I can't just be that incapacitated. So like I was just in a sling, and I would just like carry my guitar case in my right hand, sling in my left, and just
God.
Why
walk
even
around.
carry your guitar case? You can't play it.
I actually did.
What?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe it was like
it was your left shoulder.
yeah, it was my left shoulder. So I would like
so you keep maybe your like elbow down.
yeah,
kind of
just keep
deal,
the elbow
yeah.
down, kind of do this. I don't know. Maybe I got like the extra grunt out of the soulful notes just because of pain. I don't know. But that was wild,
That's
man.
the pain in your music.
Yeah, that's the deep dark emotions.
Okay, here's a question. Just total side. I don't know if this will lead to something good or not, but we're the top. So, you're from Dallas, and you played football.
I did.
Okay, so do you follow the Cowboys?
Unfortunately.
Wow.
Okay, so last year, their long snapper was a guy named Matt Overton.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
That name rings a bell.
Okay, he's played on a bunch of different teams, but
Look at
last
this,
year
Ryan,
he
you don't know
played
anything
for
about
the
sports.
it kind of sounds like I do, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, I know you. I've known you for a long time. You don't know anything about
you're
sports.
like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about right now?
Just making shit up.
So last year, the Cowboys' long snapper was a guy named Matt Overton. Matt does his podcast here.
No kidding.
So yeah, so he does in the same room.
that's
He
why.
sits here. He has his guests right
Really?
there, and he's had on a few different sports people and then also just music people. It's kind of a blend, but he's kind of recently started up. But have you heard of a guy named Dave Akers?
Oh yeah, the kicker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a legend.
He had him on recently. I met him super briefly. He basically was walking around, and I'm like, "Hi, you're here for the podcast, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, where is it?" I'm like, "It's in that room." And that was
like-
my experience with Dave Akers.
He's like one of the greatest kickers like ever. I think he might have like the most field goals in history. Google. What do we got?
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
Who's kicked the most field goals?
Let me ask you, what does a long snapper do?
Long snapper, they snap the football.
Yeah.
A
do.
long
Like-
ways. Yeah.
They
Here's what I'll tell you what I understand. Well, you can tell us the real.
I
you
also know
you probably
nothing.
know, right?
yeah.
Okay.
But
Here's
I
what
wanna
I
hear what you
think.
got.
Here's what I think. Okay.
You're usually pretty good at the guesses, getting it pretty
It's
close.
not just guessing because I did research. Now that I have a long snapper running my podcast room, I did check in. I checked into it a little bit. Okay, but here's what I think they do. I think they're more of a specialty player, kind of like a kicker. Am I right so far?
You're correct.
So they're not. It's not the most glamorous job, but their goal is to snap the ball.
By that you mean throw?
I think so.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And
Throw through your legs.
they have.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're the punter.
Kind of. Not really.
I don't know anything about sports either.
yeah.
Punt would kick, right?
What's up?
Yeah. So,
A punt is so a punt is where like you drop it and then kick it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Baxter.
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
Baxter.
It's the hike guy.
Yes.
The hike. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
remember when the man punted Baxter? That.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kick
yeah.
the baby.
Yeah. Now. Yeah. Kick the baby.
Yes.
Now.
Oh.
We're here for all your sports knowledge.
Now, the long snapper has a specialty job. Only certain situations does he have to come in and snap the ball. And he's at the ready for when they need him. And he comes in, does his job, and that's it. And he has to be like fucking perfect because he only has this one stupid roll. So he has to snap perfectly.
Yeah,
That's
you're-
what I think.
You're pretty much on the money. Like I'm trying to think if there's anything I would tweak about that. Like,
What is
is
the
there a short
situation where
snapper?
they have to come snap?
so it's punts and field goals, right? So like you kick a field goal, you get 3 points.
Not the most,
Not
but
the
tied
most.
for longest.
Oh, okay. I'll take
So
that.
That's pretty good.
yards.
That's
I'll
still,
take
still
that.
a record.
But so you kick a field goal, you get 3 points. Great. And then you punt the ball to change possession. So long snapper's goal is essentially to just snap either the punter who's like catching the ball and then punting it away.
Okay.
And that's like, probably 15, 20 yards that you have to like snap a ball through your legs.
Yeah.
And like doing that accurately.
I mean, that's 45 to 60 feet.
And
Yeah.
it always has to be through your legs.
Yes.
So
Always has
is
to be
there
through your
also
legs.
a short snapper?
Yes,
can we just
that's
call him the
called,
snapper?
That's called a center. So like when yeah, when you're like hiking the ball in like just normal offensive play, whatever, you just hike the ball like 5 yards or whatever. But yeah, long snappers just like specialized in literally all they can do. Not all they can do. I'm sure they can do more than that. I don't want to just degrade.
I mean,
they're
professional athletes.
Yes,
still.
they are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just like the best at snapping it perfectly right into the hands of whoever needs it. And you can get, I mean, shit, you can play in the NFL for it and probably make a lot more money than I do.
Yeah, I
wonder if
looked
they
it
get
up.
bad
I won't
backs.
say because I don't want to do Matt dirty like that, but I'll just say that on the internet it tells you what every NFL player made for a year, and it's like pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
I'm sure it's not bad.
it's a good job to go into.
Yeah.
Kids, this is more good advice for children.
Yes,
Go
not
into
cigarettes.
Go into professional sports. You actually make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Go into professional sports and smoke cigarettes. This is like great advice for kids episode.
Jesus. Yeah. For the record, please, if you are a child, do not listen to us at all.
Do not,
For any reason, anything that we say. If you're an adult, you live your best life. I don't care what you do.
bad. I'm good.
Yeah, just to be clear, drugs are bad.
Drugs are
Smoking is bad.
Anyway, I just wanted to go
Football's
down that.
good.
I just wanted to go that rabbit trail because I'm
I
like,
love
oh,
it.
you're from Dallas
Oh,
and you
yes.
played football, so this is
Oh,
like
I'm a
applies to
huge.
you.
I am like I don't. The Cowboys are an interesting thing because I grew up in Dallas. Like I loved football as a child. Like of course I'm gonna be a Cowboys fan, but goddamn, they're really frustrating. Like
Are they bad? Is that why?
it's not that they're
Because
bad.
we grew up with the Chargers. All I ever
Yes,
heard was bad. That's
there-
all I ever
it's-
heard.
Matt was on the Chargers too.
No shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Chargers and the Cowboys aren't that far apart. The thing about the Cowboys is like they're America's team, and they get the spotlight on them from the media, obviously from Dallas, and like they are always hyped up to be so good every year. Everyone's like they're gonna win the Super Bowl, and in my lifetime, I was born in '96. And their last Super Bowl win was in the 95-96 season. So either one, I'm the curse, or
It's all
like,
you. As soon as you
possible.
die, they're winning.
Yeah, I dude, honestly, like good.
Just
on 'em.
kidding. Don't please try to
Oh,
assassinate
you're-
him. I know there's some crazy
You're
football
not
fans.
27 yet.
Not yet.
So,
Oh, so you still got a year before
Yeah,
you
I know,
die
I
in
know.
greatness.
Yeah,
bro, you could
Till I
if
join
you
the lights.
die at 27, you'll be a legend and the Cowboys will win. So like think about that. Also great advice.
wise words from me.
We're the Great Advice podcast.
I feel like you're trying to gaslight him to suicide right now, and I don't know if that's okay.
Oh my god.
Swap to the other page.
Yes, yeah, man, the Cowboys, they're just so frustrating. It's funny. This is like a weird factoid thing, but my little brother is like a huge sports guy, and he lives in Dallas, like went to college in Dallas. Somehow struck up a friendship with this guy, Michael Gallup, who's a receiver for the Cowboys.
Right. Also inventor of the Gallup polls.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be.
Possibly.
I mean, I just made that up, but who knows?
Anyways, he's obviously he's a stud for the Cowboys, and like I've met Michael many a times, and he's the best dude on the planet. But it's funny now because we root for the Cowboys because like it's like our blood, but now we also have like a chip in the game because we're like, Michael, I love you, don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, but no, I obviously just want him to just kick ass always, and he always does. So that's always what ends up working out great. But
That's pretty
our
cool.
boy Michael Gallup, shout out if you're listening.
He listens to every episode. He's a huge
I-
fan.
He does?
Yeah, huge
Oh
fan.
my gosh. Hi, Mike.
Friend of the show.
MG.
Also, I should shout out if you're a fan, Matt Overton's podcast is called Stay Ready, filmed here, and check it out. It's good. He has sports people on. He also has music people on. I've listened to a little bit of the episodes. He's good. He's a very different vibe than us, but like he does a good show.
I need to get it, man. I'm here for it.
Now with that, I feel like it's
think it's
time
song
for us
time?
to play another song.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Were you
Totes my
feeling
goats. I was feeling that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the next song we're hearing?
So next song is a song called Runaway Train. So this song was a song I wrote with two buddies of mine from college. And I had just gotten out of this weird, very quick up and down relationship with this one girl that was just nuts. And like, yeah, it was one of those things where I probably like shouldn't have done it. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. And it was like, I'm just gonna she's a runaway train and I'm gonna go for a ride. And yeah, we just ended up writing about it, and that's the tune.
Heard the rumors running out in the beat, enough to make a man go and lose some sleep. Then out and through the cold, cold rain, I saw it coming, that runaway train. Locomotive in a tight black dress left me urging to sin, I must confess. So I tied myself down to the track, telling myself there's no turning back as I'm going down with this runaway train. Oh, I'm going down, down, down with this runaway train. I was a passenger along for the ride, barreling faster, she didn't waste no time. Didn't care when those old brakes failed, cause we were still making love when we flew off the rails. I'm going down with this runaway train. Oh, I'm going down, down, down with this runaway train. As I crawl my way out of the flame, dazed and confused but feeling no shame. Maybe then I'll be better all dead, cause all I wanna do is ride it again. As I'm going down with this runaway train. Oh, I'm going down, down, down with this runaway train. Yes, I'm going down with this runaway train. I'm going down, down, down with this runaway train.
And we're back.
All right, so that was Runaway Train. Dude, that was a dope song, and that was the one that I felt was like the bluesiest of all.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
That is definitely like we went the most hardcore bluesy with that on the record. We were just like, if any of them are gonna be that, it's got to be that one. 100%.
You got a train, it's got to go that way.
Yeah. You gotta yeehaw it.
And people who listen to the show probably don't know, but we record our artists to tape, which is the way that they did it back in, before the 2000s.
In the long, long ago.
And we have a 70s tape machine that we're recording to. And so when I pulled up your levels on that, on both those songs, I thought like, a lot of times, you want to kind of avoid distortion, but I thought your voice and guitar sounded super cool, a little bit extra distorted. And so we have that like epic tape saturation on it. And so when you like yelled out, you hear it distort and it just felt right. It feels retro, kind of felt like Leon Bridges or old blues. I don't know. It just
got that
really
like
worked.
I love that sound.
Like I didn't
dude.
hear what you're talking about, but is it like the screamy parts of Black Keys where like it hits that distort?
Yes.
'Cause I love that sound.
It's one of those things like it only really. That's the thing that's so good about tape is like you could kick on like some weird distortion thing on your vocal and make the whole thing sound just wrecked. But when you like have distortion when you're really digging in, it almost just gives it that extra little like sparkle.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
Ryan can probably
Some
go
extra
more
sauce.
into this because I know very, very little and like watched a video one time, and Ryan does this for a living.
Yes, let's get audio engineering.
I watched a video one time.
And Ryan
Was it
does
the
this for a
Reverb
living.
Motown video?
No, this is like 10 years ago. I don't even remember.
Fair enough.
But it was based on this video. It was explained to me that digital distortion cuts off, where analog distortion trails off in an arc, which give it that more satisfying sound.
Clipping.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that kinda makes
feel
sense.
free to
Yeah.
explain that further.
Clipping is any time you push a circuit past its limit and it can't accurately reproduce audio anymore. And so whenever you hear what you call distortion, something is being clipped. Okay, so sometimes we think distortion is pleasing and sometimes we don't. How it clips is what changes that for you. So every one of your fuzz pedals, every drive you have, all it's doing is clipping a circuit. It is driving some sort of circuit too hard where it is no longer to be able to be accurate. And so it creates additional harmonic content, which means additional sound information that is not actually present in the signal. It creates a new signal to exist in it. So it changes the sound. When you play an electric guitar, there's no distortion to it.
Right.
But when you drive it through an amp, you create this distortion. It has when you hear a jan chicka jan jan of a guitar, that's not how a guitar sounds.
Right.
That's how a circuit sounds, overdriven, pushed to its limits by the strings of a guitar.
Right.
Okay, so there are different kinds, right? Many, many different kinds. But digital clipping, we don't usually think is pleasant because what it's doing is digital. I don't know if tell me if I'm getting too heady. Digital,
I'm here with you.
Yeah, digital converts analog sound waves. For people who aren't watching right now, a gentle wave up and down. It converts that. Everything digital is expressed ultimately by ones and zeros, on and off states. Right? Computer programmer over here. Doesn't he look like a fucking computer programmer?
You actually look a lot like one of my very, very good friends / guitar players.
What if I had shorter hair?
You would
Like, I'd
actually
make it worse.
You would look less like him. I'll tell you that.
So
Shout out Luke.
digital is turning everything into numbers, you could say, to be expressed in a computer. So if you push past what it can accept, it doesn't collect any more information past that point. You could think about it like black and white, like in photography. All the way bright white is the presence of 100% of information is taken. All the way black is there is zero information. If you push a digital signal past what it can take, it's almost like bright white. It doesn't know what's happening after that point of volume, and so it just sounds like shit because it just doesn't
sound really bad.
Now, on a tape machine, if you push it too far, it's a different kind of distortion.
Is it soft clipping? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you could call it soft clipping.
Okay.
It is basically it's using magnets to rearrange the magnetic field on a piece of tape. All of the tape, if you think of so for somebody listening, tape, think of a cassette tape. If you're too young,
I'll say if you're too
think
young.
of a VHS tape. If you're the next step too young,
You're screwed.
think of
Yeah, I'm like, what else do we got?
literally think of Scotch tape, but it's the color black. And what is on that Scotch tape?
And not sticky.
And not sticky.
Yes.
What is on that tape is magnetic particles. When it passes past the record head of a tape machine, it is imprinting the magnetic field onto that tape as it passes. Now, if you push it too hard, basically you're oversaturating it is what we call it. That's why you call it tape saturation. Right. You're basically telling the magnetic oxide on the tape to go past what it can do. And so it does it it reacts to that.
Fucks up the signal.
And it sounds like distortion. But because it's happening in the real world, it actually turns out to be a kind of cool distortion that we enjoy hearing. It's technically called third order distortion.
Okay.
Or third harmonic. I'm saying it wrong. It's one of those. If you combine those two things, it's what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, it ends up being a pleasing sound. And so on that, bringing it all back on your last song, I was pushing your vocal and guitar a little hot. And so the magnetics on that tape were receiving too much information. And so what's cool is you're a very dynamic singer and player. So you got real quiet. It's perfectly reproducing what happened in the room. But as soon as you got really loud, all of a sudden the tape was being oversaturated, and the distortion that you get is really similar to what you hear in old records from the past, from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s.
Right.
and it really complimented what you were doing.
I love that sound, man.
Most technical I've ever gotten on this show.
I love it.
Not true.
I'm so happy. I challenge you to get nerdier than that.
He has gotten. We've
like-
had a few producers on, and they've gotten
Oh,
deep
shit.
to the point where I'm like, I should just be on my phone for a while. There's been a couple of times, and I don't even know this language anymore. Like,
Man, like I always just think about that sound because like I feel like it wasn't until I got to college where I really got into like the vintage soul records, like your Al Greens, your Otis Reddings, your X, Y, Z, and your Motown shit, you know? And especially Al Green. So the guy I work with that produces my records is a guy named Drew Long. Shout out Drew. You're
Shout out Drew
the
Long.
fucking man. But he worked under Dave Cobb for a while.
Fun.
And like Dave has worked on fucking Stapleton, Sturgill Simpson, like crazy.
Did he ever work at RCA Studio A up the street?
He did. Yeah, he
I
worked like
wonder-
half at Dave's
that's where
studio.
your chair's from.
I wonder if I've
Oh my
met
god,
Drew.
no shit.
Oh, it is, yeah.
He looks Swedish as fuck. He's like
Okay.
long blonde hair. He's the man.
I wonder if I've met him. Drew, if you're listening, I wonder if you ever worked with Sorrel or oh god, I can't remember her name right now, but she's a female engineer.
Is it Gina?
Gina.
Yeah, I know Gina.
Oh yeah.
Gina's the shit. I think he just missed Gina. We were just talking about this a couple weeks ago. But anyways,
Yeah.
fucking I remember getting really hip to Al because he was telling me when Dave would pull up reference tracks to get like that old soul sound, he would pull up I'm a Ram, that Al Green tune, and like the saturation that's not only on his voice, because like Al Green's Al Green, like he can sing his ass off, but the horns, if you hear just like the way when they really dig in, how those horns saturate on tape, it is glorious.
Yeah, horns are really saturation prone.
It's
They
so
sound
great.
really cool with it.
Yeah, I think he did it with a ribbon mic too. I think that's that's where about my knowledge ends. But
There's an edge to it. And the funny thing is, like, what people don't necessarily realize when you hear those older records, there's an edge to it when things really dig in. And it's like you have some of that edge is in your vocal already, but the tape is now responding to your vocal and adding even a little bit more edge.
boom.
And so you dig in, and it gives you even a little bit more than you had perceptually.
It's even more fun to dig into when you can hear yourself do it. You know, like I've noticed that just because I work with Drew mostly, but sometimes I'll like go off and do my own thing and been picking up things here and there. And like, I don't have a lot of analog stuff, but like the digital world's the digital world, but some of the stuff sounds pretty good. And just being able to like sing into like a tape machine sounding plugin, or even just like something that's very dynamically based, like being able to like know when you're digging in, you're getting that sound back in your ears. It's like, oh, this is the sound you're almost hearing in your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great feeling to be able to hear that sound back
Yeah.
and dig in.
I had a friend back in the day who played a little guitar, did a little songwriting, just kind of a hobby. And I was explaining to him how we make records, and like when you make like a rock sound, you'll do like, you'll double the guitar. You'll do two of the same thing and pan them out. Sometimes you'll do four of a guitar. You might do one that's more clean and one that's more distorted. And so when you hear a jan jan chicka chicka jan jan on a record, you are like, that's a guitar, but actually it's probably like two guitars or maybe four guitars.
Totally.
Or more, maybe six guitars, depending on how crazy the people are involved.
Right.
And when I talked to him about this, he's like, oh, that's why when I was growing up playing in my room, it never sounded like the records I liked.
Yes. Totally, dude.
And I'm like, that could be a discouraging thing for kids. Then they play and like, oh, I don't sound like the record. And it's like, oh, I need this better amp or I need this other thing. And it's like, no.
Okay,
When we make a
let me
record,
ask
we
you then.
cheat.
Let me
You
ask
could-
you.
Oh, go for it.
Because when I was learning guitar, I always felt like I could never make it sound like a record. Like
Yeah.
I've listened to, I could never make it sound like that, and it was very frustrating. Except guitar solos.
Interesting.
If you learn a guitar solo note for note, it sounds like the guitar solo. Do they not double solos? I mean, I assume sometimes they probably do.
Yeah, usually not.
Usually not.
But that's
Yeah.
probably. I wonder if that's why.
That makes a lot of sense.
I remember learning the solo. Oh shit. I can't remember now what song it was. It was some AC/DC song. I learned a solo like note for note, and I was like, I fucking nailed it. Like it sounds just like it sounds.
Yeah,
and I was so stoked.
Some solos might be doubled, but it's pretty hard to double a solo because it's a lot of like stuff in the moment, and it's very expressive.
It's nuanced.
It's hard to hit the same thing, and honestly, you kind of want it to stand out, and you kind of pan it in the center, and usually you don't double it. And if you do double it, you tend to do like either digital doubling or what's called ADR, which is an analog version of that.
Or maybe
I was just
more like
about
the
to ask your
rhythmic
take
style.
on ADR, ADT.
Yeah.
Seer
Oh yeah,
thoughts.
sorry, ADT.
Yeah,
That's right.
whatever it is, but.
Because ADR is automatic dialogue replacement. Yeah, ADT's analog doubling. I don't know.
I used to know the word.
Yeah.
Automated double tracking.
That sounds right. Yeah,
That's what it is.
So that was invented for John Lennon.
Okay, can I guess what that does without knowing anything?
Yeah.
Because my guess, automatic double tracking. So it's going to take the single recorded thing, duplicate it, and offset it by a few milliseconds.
You're like, what, 90% there?
Yeah.
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 Nice.
It's pretty damn close.
Fucking nailed it.
I would say like the only thing that he's missing is just like it changes the pitch of it little by
just
little,
ever
depending on how
slightly
you're
to
setting
like
it.
distinguish.
Yeah. It's this thing called like the Haas effect. Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, the Haas effect basically says that any sound that is, if you have two sounds, like the same exact sound, if it's within 40 milliseconds of itself, you will perceive it as being the same sound.
Were you and I talking about this the other day?
No.
Who was I talking
Not
to about
recently.
milliseconds and reaction time and what humans can notice? I thought that was you.
Oh, yeah, it was probably me, but not we. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because I was relating it back to, because I play a lot of games. I do a lot of like competitive online gaming
Oh,
things
hell
and,
yeah.
and whatnot. And I'm like, with that, there's a latency that goes to the servers and back. And you know, in the game that I play, Overwatch, if it's over a certain latency, like there's certain characters I won't play because I can't react as well because of the latency. And that's usually about 200, 150 to 200 milliseconds. Where if it's under like 40 is like my standard. If I can go under 40, I'm like, I can't even notice a difference.
Yeah, that's crazy. In my head, like 200 milliseconds would be like unbearable.
Yeah.
I just think about like delay time.
Well, audio wise, that's got to be unbearable.
yeah.
That's
No,
so long.
200 milliseconds, if I had to guess, is something like,
Oh, way
Yeah.
quicker than that. Way quicker than that. Because it's 1/5 of a second. So because 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second.
Right.
So if you think
1,000.
that's a long second. I mean, like it's about as fast as you can do. Like at least visually, reaction time is.
No, that's quicker than 200 milliseconds.
We're going to spend the next 5 minutes
it's
on
a
this
lot
podcast. Just
Yeah, we need some math.
Also, there's something else about milliseconds and reaction time. Like your reaction time's faster than like what you could choose to do. Anyway, ADT has it's the analog version of that. Rather than copying like digitally, you put the same signal back in again, analog, through a tape machine, and you have the tape machine set to vary speed, and you have I don't know what this is called off the top of my head, but it's an oscillator. You have an oscillator slowly changing the varispeed by a prescribed,
Interval. Or
interval.
taste.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's basically like if my vocal was like, let me take you down because we're going.
Did you write that?
I did. Dude. Now it's
You
going to
should
go.
record that.
Now it's going to change the pitch just subtly, like, let me take you down because we're going.
And so you then layer that on top.
On top. And now it might be the exact same recorded part, but it's slightly changing its pitch and timing in relationship to the original vocal. And when you hear it, it sounds very similar to as if I just recorded it again, slightly different.
So then the end result being it sounds more full.
Yeah. It sounds more full. And then there's a waver in the pitch that happens. And that wavering quality sounds like a chorus pedal.
Yeah.
Which in that song specifically, I feel like you hear that.
Yeah.
Like when you said that, I was like, oh, that's what he's talking
That
about.
would-
Because
yes,
I know how
yeah.
that song sounds. I mean, I've heard it
The
a million
biggest
times.
one of it all. And I'm so glad we're talking about this because, like, I am, like, above any band that's ever existed. The Beatles are number one for me.
Same.
Yes, like, I am a.
Oh, you're
like-
wearing a Paul McCartney shirt right now.
Oh, yeah, I am. I forgot about that. But, like, dude, like, just
That's too
everything
small, I
that
can't
George
read.
Martin touched and everything like that. Like, man,
Not
the dude
RR.
was just brilliant. But
Yeah.
I remember I actually took a Beatles class in college, like a full semester of it, and they were talking about ADT, and I think the original one was "I Am the Walrus" off Magical Mystery Tour, and it's like that. The original concept was like he wanted it. No, wait, that was a different one. It was some hybrid of like I wanted. I don't know. I think it was that John was honestly maybe like I don't want to fucking double these anymore. And
Right. That's what I heard. John didn't want to double anymore.
John was just getting lazy and like honestly, thank God he did because it is a sick sound. Like,
Yeah.
I love that sound. And yeah, he just got into it. But man, like if we're talking influences or anything in that realm, like John, it really Paul above all, like is as an artist, like there's no one better to pick from than those dudes. Yeah.
Agreed. Okay.
Wesley threw a stat on the screen for a
Yeah.
second there that said the average human blink is 100 milliseconds.
Really?
So blink twice.
That doesn't sound right to me, but
does-
that is what the
That
internet said.
feels so fast.
I work in.
Ooh,
blink
Wes-
feels
You
faster
brought a
than
stopwatch
Wesley's
up
got a
on the
stopwatch.
screen.
Wesley dropping facts.
So do like a click click. See what the time is. Oh yeah, right. He can't see that screen on his thing.
Oh.
Go left, a lot, like a lot,
left, more
Almost-
left, and up,
up,
and left,
a little more left, and
And
up,
up.
up.
And hit
You're on
start.
it. Now
You're on it.
Now click click. Oh,
No,
it
the
didn't stop. It didn't
What?
stop.
Stupid. The stop goes to another spot on the
All right.
screen.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
bad
that's
average
UI.
bullshit.
blink is 4,000 milliseconds.
Wesley,
according to this.
take note. This is bad UI. Wesley's in school right now for UI UX design.
Oh shit.
Anyway, that was a very noble attempt. 40 milliseconds is so quick
That's
that
very
you'll hear
fast.
it as the exact same thing.
Yeah. That makes
I
sense
just,
to me.
if you do, okay, I'll tell you this. If I do like a 97 millisecond delay on a guitar part, it's like a slapback effect. And it sounds like
Really?
97 milliseconds sounds like Elvis.
Oh.
If you listen to Elvis or early Death Cab for Cutie, they have a slapback effect where it almost sounds like you're in a super tight, echoey room. Excuse me. I feel like 100, 200 to me starts feeling like a bup.
Yes, that's when you get in like to my head delay land.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Gilmore or whatever it is. But the slapback sound is something that I've always adored. I like the actually on I didn't play this one tonight, but a song called Congratulations, the guitar solo, I remember just sitting there with Drew and him just like wizarding up a bunch of things. And I played this one guitar solo while we were in the studio, and like, fast forward 3 weeks later, we're in his home studio, like just mixing everything, and he put a sample delay on it, which is like the concept of it is you have your dry guitar or your dry track, whatever it is, and then you have the same exact track, and you just choose the milliseconds that it delays, right? So he did something like, I don't know, like 85, 90 milliseconds, and it's hard left and hard right in your ears. So when you hear it, it kind of sounds like going up like that. And God, when you put that on a guitar track, it's actually really cool on vocals too, but it's very much like an acquired taste thing on vocals. But on guitar, it's money.
Huh.
Very, very cool sound.
Now, I teased before we got into this conversation, I have a crazy ass story.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
All right, I got a crazy story, all right? And I was reminded because I just got a text from the guy a second ago during the break. All right, so last week I had this dream, really crazy dream, and I know you hate dreams.
I don't hate dreams. I just believe they are simply something of your subconscious and are not meaningful or mean anything anyway outside of to you personally and what your subconscious believes.
Now I'm
But they don't have
challenge.
any effect on the real world. I don't believe they're real at all.
I'm going to challenge that a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what this
Unlikely,
means.
because what I believe is based in science, what you believe is based in nonsense. So
No, my belief. I have no belief here. I just have.
Where's
a
that
weird,
whiskey?
sorry, we get aggressive late into the show.
I just got a weird experience, and if you got an explanation, great. But I'm more than happy for you. You don't have to understand it. You could
That's
just
fine.
sit in the. It's weird.
I mean, the
okay?
explanation is coincidence, but yeah.
Okay, maybe it's coincidence. All right, so check this out. So last week I have this dream, right? lot of weird things happened. At one point, like I think Trump was a part of it, and it was like a fundraiser, and like India, like they're going to Greece, and I was gonna like try to get some money out of it, and it was this whole thing. Anyway, at one point in the dream, and this is the important part, I'm at a church service led by Kanye West. And Kanye West is up front, and he's leading the church service. And I'm
Poorly,
like, a lot of people are super into it. Some people are out, and they like want to leave. Okay? Very divided audience at the Kanye West church service.
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and then there's this whole weird side thing where I got into like an argument, or there was this group of people there that wanted to like basically steal my inheritance. Okay, that was this other side thing. The important thing is I'm at a Kanye West church service,
Right?
And it's a little interesting, and I don't know what I think. And there's some people like it, some people don't. All right, 2 days later.
You're
Now,
at church.
as you
Kanye
heard,
speaking.
I was gonna say he's got to be coming back from the dead.
Now, as you know, or as you heard, I came today. I have a 1964 convertible Thunderbird.
So bad.
So I drove to the studio today because it was a nice day.
Yeah.
All right.
We also heard you leaving the apartments last night
Oh, did you?
because we live in the same apartment complex.
Oh no shit.
You didn't hear me leaving. You might have heard me coming back.
Maybe. I just heard really loud Beatles being played as someone drove across the parking lot.
I knew you were cool.
And I was just like, there's no way that's not Ryan. He's in his convertible listening to Beatles right now.
Dude, I want that so bad, but it wasn't me.
Last night.
I came home at like 4 a.m.
Oh, no. It must have not been
and I had
you.
the top up because it was freezing. So
Yeah, it was so cold.
okay, so I got a 1964 convertible Thunderbird.
Right.
A few months ago, I put on this website called Vinty. By the way, if you want to rent my convertible Thunderbird, you can on Vinty. It's a website to rent vintage cars. Okay. So I had a request last week, 2 days after this dream. I have a request to rent my Thunderbird. And it is from this guy, and he says, "Hi, I'm the publicist for Jason White and the Sunday Service. And we are doing this event on Easter Sunday in Atlanta, and we would like to use your Thunderbird as a part of it on the stage." So I look it up because Kanye West has the Sunday service.
Right.
Weird, right? I look it up. Jason White is the choir director for Kanye West Sunday service.
No shit.
They have split from Kanye, and they have their new thing that they're doing on their own because who doesn't want to abandon Kanye at this point?
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing. It's called Jason White and the Flip. Guy calls me this morning and talked to me about it. Basically, they want to have the set for their show will be my Thunderbird if I go through with it. I'm going to come up with a price later tonight, and we'll see if they go with it. But basically, my Thunderbird is in the middle of an arena. A celebrity attended, like he said, like it's going to be a celebrity event. Every musician is like spread around the Thunder. They're going to have a singer in one of the seats of the car. They're going to have the drummer behind it. They're going to have a bass player sitting on the hood. The car is the set. And they're turning, it's called Jason White and the Flip. They're flipping songs from the Dirty South. So all of your, like, what is it?
Like
Lil
Ludacris?
Jon, all of those. All
Yeah.
the Dirty South rappers are going to take their songs and make them gospel songs for Easter.
That actually sounds
And
sick.
use my car as the set.
It's pretty cool.
That's what they want me. We'll see if it happens. I still got to pitch them a price because this is gonna be expensive.
Yeah, I would fucking.
I got to tow my car to Atlanta.
Like enough to
this-
renovate the
That's
car.
just gonna be
and
It's gonna
crazy.
be. We'll see if they want that or not.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was texting me right before this, and that's why I thought of the story. But I'm just saying, it's fucking wild.
That's insane.
No matter how you chop it up. But either way, I had a dream about being at Kanye's church service, and then his choir director called me 2 days later and wants me to bring my car to Atlanta.
What an
for
interesting
Easter.
coincidence.
That is crazy, dude.
Isn't that fucking wild?
That's insane. Oh, poor Kanye. Or not poor Kanye.
Not poor
Actually,
Kanye.
I'm gonna backtrack that.
Yeah.
Oh
Bro,
God, what the fuck?
This is the weird thing about living in Nashville. It never happened in San Diego. Ask me how many
There could be
weird-
like a weird Hollywood thing, but it's just so
Hollywood.
much less likely.
yeah.
So, like, ask me how many like weird celebrity encounters I had growing up. Zero.
Oh, I had
But,
a
like,
lot. But that's
Oh, really?
because of
Oh, Pro Kids.
Pro
Yeah,
Kid.
yeah, yeah.
I was involved in this program growing up. It was a golf program for kids called Pro Kids Golf Academy and Learning Center in San Diego. First tee of San Diego, also. And I was there as a kid, and then it was my first job, and I was just at this place. I used to play golf 6 days a week. Like,
Oh shit.
now I haven't played in a long ass time, but they did like celebrity tournaments and things that I caddied for, and I caddied for this NFL player once. So my group, the group I was in, the group of like people, was Michael J. Fox, Vernon
Davis?
the guy who played Mini-Me.
Oh. I have no idea.
Yeah, and he brought his son along, who was a full-size...
Mini-er me?
No, he was full-size person, not doesn't have dwarfism or
Gotcha.
whatever, however you're supposed to say that. And it was funny because he would do all the drives and then he would just putt, right?
No shit.
But the guy who I specifically caddied for was some NFL player. And I don't remember his name. And he was a dick.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember his name, but if I caddied for you, you were a dick. And I was like 15. Like, you should have been nice to me.
You don't remember?
break.
I don't remember his name. He was some random football
But he
player.
was a dick.
Do you remember any
But you
team
know
he
what? I
played
remember
for,
Michael J.
anything?
Fox.
Was he a long snapper for the Dallas Cowboys?
No, I think he was a Charger. He was a Charger. But I
Okay.
don't remember who it was.
It wasn't like
But I'll tell you, the guy who
Wasn't
played
Junior
Mini-Me...
Seau, was it?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
No.
Sean Merriman?
I would remember the big names.
Okay.
I'd remember
That's
the big
fair.
names. Because I grew
That's
up
fair.
in San Diego.
Yeah.
He was
Even
probably
football.
like
Very
a
fair.
long snapper or something
Yeah.
stupid.
But I'll tell you, the actor who played, I think his name's Vern Troyer, maybe.
Okay.
I talked to him for like 1 second. He was super nice. Michael J. Fox was super. This was before Parkinson's.
How
was really
tall
bad.
is Mini-Me, like, on you right now? If you were, like, maybe
I mean, I
stand
was like
up,
15.
yeah, but...
I would
stand-
guess
How
this.
tall is he's actually Mini-Me size? Did they make him look smaller for the movie?
Google.
It's too far away for me to be able to.
Yeah, you
Put
could
those
look
things
it up,
together.
Leslie.
But he was nice to me. Michael J. Fox was cool. A buddy of mine got to caddy for the guy who played Carlton from Fresh Prince. I forget his name. And he did the
shit.
dance. And
What's
he was
that
super
guy's
cool.
name?
2 foot 8 inches. Wow.
Is it like Alfonso Banks or something?
Yeah,
like
Alfonso
that?
something.
Yeah.
Banks was the name from
Oh, I know.
Fresh
Yeah,
Prince.
yeah, you're so right. Fuck. That's
But he like did the
Alfonso's
dance
good.
for us all, like, you know, we were young, and it was,
no.
it was so cool.
to Tom Jones, dude. It's
Not unusual
Yeah.
to be loved by anyone.
Dude, it was so funny. For my senior recital at college, we could pick the Spotify like playlist that we could listen to before. And you know that John Mulaney bit where he like
Yes.
plays What's New Pussycat over
Yes.
and over and
Yeah,
over again.
7
He does-
times.
Yeah, and then one, It's Not Unusual. I did that exact same thing for when people walked into my senior recital.
That's
'Cause
amazing.
I was like,
that's
I
amazing.
could not give a flying fuck. And my grandparents were there. I'm sure they enjoyed the throwback. That's all I'm saying.
To them, it's just a throwback. To you, you're just cracking.
were
I'm
like-
just like, oh my God.
They were like, "What's New Pussycat is longer than I thought."
I appreciate how you did your John Mulaney cadence.
Yeah,
while you
that was
said
great.
Yeah.
That was on the money.
Oh, bro, I love John Mulaney so much.
Oh, me too.
I went and saw him in August at the Ryman.
How was that?
It was incredible.
Oh,
It was so good. Yeah.
I do love him. I
They're
feel
going to be putting out his new special soon.
I was gonna say because has he put anything else since that Radio City thing?
No,
No.
but
Oh.
he has been on a very long tour. So I saw him in August, and he'd already been on tour for a while. But in August, I saw from Scratch tour. Okay, he is still going on that. I think it is this month he's filming the special from the From Scratch tour.
Gotcha.
So I assume his new special will be called From Scratch.
Right.
And I assume it will be
Yeah.
very, very polished because I love.
I will say, if you
I'm
like
so
stand up,
excited.
which I mean, I'm a big stand up fan. He
me
is as
too.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burt Kreischer just came out with a new one this
Oh,
week.
yeah, I saw it. Sparkles.
Razzle Dazzle.
Razzle dazzle. Yeah.
And I wasn't a big fan of the first like 10 or 15 minutes. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this one. After that, perfect and amazing. And
Really?
It was
give him a
so
razzle
good.
dazzle dad.
Yeah. It's
Hell yeah.
so good. And if you like Burt Kreischer, absolutely recommend.
do love Burt
And if you
Kreischer.
don't know who that is, you should look up The Machine on YouTube.
Oh
The
my
Machine.
God.
and
Iconic.
just
Bro,
the
he-
movie's coming out next month,
shit.
April.
Yeah.
The movie The Machine is coming out. It got postponed because of the Ukraine stuff. They don't want to release it because of like
Shut up.
political things. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That
but it's coming out this
that's
next month,
crazy.
and it looks good. Like the trailers look good at least. Which
Dude.
who knows of it?
When he referenced in the new special, when he talked about the parent teacher, the school function he was at when he wins all the awards, or like he won every like.
Oh my!
thing.
Don't spoil.
Oh,
No, yeah,
I'm
you
so
gotta
excited.
listen to
And
it.
he referenced the fucking machine in
yeah.
it.
Oh my gosh.
It's solid. Like Burt Kreischer is one of the comedians. Every special has been better.
Really?
I really like it's. I feel like that's so rare. Usually,
totally.
our experience, we've talked about this a lot on the show, but I feel like the third special of stand-ups tends to start to be where they are so successful, it's harder for them to connect to the average person.
That makes a lot of sense.
Does not feel that way with him at all. It feels like he is just a redneck, like just fucking just living.
Dude, when you just got hype about Bert Kreischer, my inner monologue just said, take off
Eric
your
wouldn't know about
shirt and Bert Kreischer this shit. But I'm not going to.
Oh my God.
Because people, you don't have to listen to your inner monologue.
But anyway, we gotta wrap up here pretty soon. Yeah. But before we do have an important question that we ask every guest.
Hell yeah.
That's true.
So it is time for that. So here's the thing. If you had to choose.
Oh God.
And you do.
And you do. Now the important thing about this question.
Yeah.
Is
I was expecting the question
No,
at the
no,
end
no.
of that.
Yeah.
Is the
Sit
answer
back.
no.
Sit back.
The answer
Don't
must,
get too stressed out.
Must
Too
not
Yeah.
come from here.
And,
God.
And if you're only listening to the audio, I think this is a great time for me to mention, if you go to Spotify or YouTube, you can see us. And Wesley is back here. He is switching cameras between the two of us. You can see Sam. You can see us.
I promise we're all so handsome.
It's true.
We're so
and we're making hand gestures. We're explaining things like earlier when I was talking about tape saturation and I was doing this thing with my hand. You wouldn't know if you were only listening to audio. So if you're on Apple Podcast, you don't know that. By the way, if you're on Spotify and you're only hearing the audio right now and you didn't know it did video, you need to look at the bottom where it shows the video. Click that. You can see the video. You can see us. So if you're an audio-only listener, I'd encourage you to look at the video. Because if you were, you would see that Jury is pointing to his head.
It must come from here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and for, again, audio only, I'm going to, check out the video. But if you don't want to check out the video, maybe you only want to listen. Maybe you're driving.
Yeah.
He's pointing to his heart.
Okay, it's got to come from the heart.
That.
The heart.
So if you had to choose.
And you do.
Okay, now what that actually means in practice.
Yeah, don't jump in.
Coming from your heart, not your head.
Don't go too quick.
What
we
that
have
actually
time.
means is.
I know you want to get home to your wife, but we have time to explain.
We really got
got
it. This is an important question.
Give Sam a good version of the question.
I need you to give me an answer immediately.
Immediately.
I don't want you to think about it. I want it to
Okay.
come from the depths of your soul.
My inner monologue is going insane.
Yeah. Your inner monologue is to shut the fuck up and just be ready to answer the goddamn question.
Heard that.
Here's the thing. If you had to choose.
And you do.
And you do.
Yeah.
What would you say?
And by the way, before you jump right in, remember, you're on the Music Row Hideout podcast, okay? This guy fucks with Kanye West choir director. Like, I'm kind of a big deal.
Jason White?
Jason White, dude. And,
Shout out.
And sometimes in this chorus, it's Matt Overton, long snapper of the Dallas Cowboys. This is a big deal. How you answer this question? This is a big deal right now, okay? So don't just jump into it. But at the same time, as not just jumping into it, answer fucking immediately.
All right, heard that.
Yeah.
If you had to choose.
And you do.
And you do. What would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
Snapping.
Ooh. I love your after sound effect of the question. That's just so good. Snapping.
Why?
Why?
Because I had I had the Haas effect amount of seconds to make the decision
That was
to
real
get
quick.
that shit.
That was a blank. That was 100 milliseconds at max.
Yeah,
That was good. It was
absolute
quick.
max.
It was quick though. Not the quickest we've ever had.
Damn it.
But
Might
quick.
be. It was
Actually,
close.
no, who was it who was quick?
I don't know, but
was
last week
Was it Gabby?
Last week, Timothy Edward
Oh,
Carpenter.
his was quick.
was
He
quick.
just instant answered.
I didn't even think I had the
ninja.
question all the way out before he knew.
Wow.
He said ninja. Like Ninja Turtles.
Shit.
I know.
That's so good.
Right?
Only the
It's
second time we've
incredible.
gotten ninja.
It was
Damn it.
incredible. We just all weeped. Like,
Damn. Oh, I would have. Damn.
Wept is the word you're looking for.
Oh my. Snapping turtle. If I could get full, it would probably be alligator snapping turtle.
ooh,
Sure,
Because
sure. Okay.
They're just sick. They look so cool.
Yeah, they're dangerous.
I know.
They're real dangerous.
I like danger, man.
Yeah, you're the danger kind of guy. Yeah. Get that vibe.
I'm dangerous.
No,
just hit one, bro. Get the gab.
That was the least dangerous sound that probably could have been on this board.
But that sound. I will say that sound effect is the Old Spice commercial.
Good point.
Yeah.
With that guy who's like the manliest.
He's a badass.
Man.
Swan dive.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's a pretty manly sound effect. You know what I'm saying?
But snapping. Now the people know.
Yeah, I'm a man.
I'm on a horse.
But we're going to wrap up here. But before we do, where can all the people find you?
Man, you can find me a couple places. My favorite place to find my shit is just in my music. You know, I'm on all digital streaming platforms.
Spotify,
Apple Music,
YouTube Music,
all the things. And it's just my name, Sam Johnston, with that T. Don't forget the T. And
that is important. That's also my sister's husband's last name, or her last name now too.
No kidding.
And I remember when they started dating, me saying, "That's not a name. It's Johnson."
Yep.
What's that extra letter doing in there?
It's Scotland. It's something in Scotland. That's all I know.
The Scots.
They decided to
They
add
make a
T's to
damn
shit.
good whiskey. But,
They do.
But get that T out of there.
Shout out Lefroy. It's good shit.
Shout out a whole whiskey brand.
Oh my god! I'm just gonna give it to him. If you ever want to endorse me, I think I'm like at least 45% Scottish. So
You look it. I can see it. Yeah.
I get the red hair. But if you want to just follow around what I'm doing, either if you want to come find me at shows or you want to find me on TikToks or whatever, it's just Sam Johnston Music. That's the @ handle for that.
Sam Johnson Music on everything. On Instagram,
on Instagram,
Facebook,
on TikTok,
Twitter,
on YouTube,
MySpace,
Zanga. Yep.
Live Journal.
Live.
Or that's before your time.
Yeah,
I was seeing how far back we could get.
I know you got me with Tom and MySpace, but
Yeah.
after that, I was like, yeah, I got nothing.
Sorry, I make that joke like every week.
I love it.
No one ever knows what it's talking about, and Ryan, I'm pretty sure, hates it.
He's just sitting there like,
so right. I think I'm good with you until Zanga, and I'm like, fuck you.
You don't know LiveJournal? Am I the only one who knows LiveJournal? If you know
I know
LiveJournal,
of
comment
LiveJournal.
down below.
You know how I know LiveJournal? My cringy 9th grade girlfriend liked LiveJournal.
I had it in like 6th grade.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had LiveJournal. I bet it's still up there. Probably not.
probably.
how much did you reference My Chemical Romance in that live journal?
No, I didn't start listening to
MCR.
rock music till I was a little older.
Oh, that's fair.
Because I grew up in a very poor area. I only listened to hip hop, R&B, and rap, and Christian music growing up.
What a dynamic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't.
You know who would like all those things? Jason White in the Sunday service.
Yes.
Featuring my 1964 Thunderbird
You're
convertible.
darn tootin'.
But make sure you guys check out Sam Johnston
That's my.
on all the things. Follow him. Go check out the show. Are you playing anywhere coming up soon that people should know about?
Yeah, we're actually just finalizing up. We're playing the 8th Room, which is a new venue in town,
8th Room.
on May 18th.
Okay.
Yep.
So May 18th, the show will definitely be out way before then.
Yes.
I'm probably this week, I'm guessing.
Next week, yeah.
Next week.
Whatever.
And I'll actually be joined by a alumni of Music Girl Hideout,
Oh,
Gabrielle Grace.
Oh, we
friend of the
love
show.
Gabby.
Yeah,
We do
friend
love
of the
Gabby.
show. She will be joining us. So I'm very excited for that.
Awesome.
It's going to be a good time, man.
But anyways, guys. Oh, wait, you want to? Oh, you're
Yep.
already. Okay. But anyways, guys, as always, you guys are awesome, and we'll see y'all next time.
In this prison, football fields and plastic smiles, so unforgiving, drag me by my feet for miles. Ooh, I might be here for a while. Drink some liquor, sure as hell try. Ooh, I might be here for a while. Songbirds sing and the air is night. Ooh, time is ticking. Still haven't seen my name in lights. Ooh, I might be here for a while. Mama says that it'll pass. Blink your eyes and you'll be something. And this will all be in the past. And I'll say, Mama, I don't know, but I'll sure as hell try. Ooh, I might be here for a while. Be a while, take some time, might as well enjoy the ride. Be a while, take some time, might as well enjoy the ride. Be a while, take some time, might as well enjoy the ride. I'm a no good Nashville nothing. Mama says that it'll pass. Blink your eyes and you'll miss something. And this will all be in the past. So Mama, rest assured that I'll sure as hell try.